What it do, homies? It's your boy Dave, and I'm back today. We out here about to check out a new band of me called Mayhem, right? If I'm reading that correctly. The True Mayhem official. Believe it? Yeah, Mayhem. Okay. And we're doing a song called Funeral Fog. So I have no idea what to expect. So let's go ahead and shut up and turn it up. I couldn't find a decent lyric video. So I just pulled up the lyrics on here while we're just going to read this while we're following along. So let's rock. Yo, hold on, man. What am I listening to? Yo, what is this? What is going on right here? Yo, just straight from the beginning, we just straight into it. Just absolute fast, destructive. This that type of stuff that you mosh pit to, ain't it? This that stuff that just be raging in your ear while you just punching something. It's that workout music, right? This to get you that extra rep. It was just at first. So check this out, man. At first, I'm sitting here trying to follow it and everything, and I kind of got lost in the beginning, right? It's just so chaotic. And then I kind of heard a little bit of the melody of the guitar scream coming in, where it was like, dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Now I like that because it gave me some type of ground, some type of tempo to try to catch things up. I don't listen to specific music of this type that much to be able to develop the ears to know what I'm listening to, right? And then right before we started breaking off into the segment of providing the first verse, I think that the beat kind of came in and kind of gave it that that offbeat where it went like do 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 do. Oh, I can't really do it without any type of backtrack, but you guys know what I mean. But it's really, really chaotic right now, and it's making it really hard for me to focus. So we're gonna go ahead and continue now. The lyrics, it looks like from what I heard, they were whispering it a little bit. So we're gonna try to see if we can follow along. This might be a little bit too advanced for me right now. I'm gonna go back like 10 seconds. Okay. So let's just, I can follow the lyrics. So let's just go ahead and start from the beginning. So every time this year the dark fog will appear, up from the tombs it comes, to take one more life that can be near in the middle of Transylvania. So that's interesting, right? We all know what happens in Transylvania, right? We got werewolves, we got Frankensteins, we got vampires and stuff like that. So already just from that point, I'm getting fantasy feels, right? So this is like a fantasy song, you know what I mean? And all natural life has for a long time ago gone is thin and so beautiful, but also so dark and mysterious. Interesting. Thin and so beautiful. When you're talking about life, right? Probably thin and so beautiful. The reason why I say thin is because just like if you had a thin cracker, it cracks easily. Like a thin life, human life, right? Or just says natural life, it can be ended just like that, right? But the fact that it can live on for a very long time, or just the fact of you just having a soul, by some people can be marveled as beautiful. So that's interesting, and but also so dark and mysterious because we know some of the dark and evil things that people can do. So thin, dark, mysterious, beautiful life. Okay. It's almost like almost kind of giving me zombie feels. Like this is the type of stuff that you would hear a zombie saying as they rising up and out the ground. You know, like as soon as the music starts, it starts when the zombie hand comes out from the ground and this just starts playing. And the vocal texture and everything. I'm just sitting here like thinking about what they look like when they're in the microphone, right? Just sitting there trying to think about it. They must be like, every time this year, you know what I'm saying? Like got the shoulders all hunched up, just really speaking into it to give it like this really, really, what's the word I'm looking for? Goalie feel. Okay, we'll go back 5 seconds. Hey, graveyard. As it comes from afar. There's that Archie drum again. Got a grunge. Reverb on the drums. Seems like it's thunder. Okay. Well, that was definitely interesting, to say the least. That's what I love about making a reaction channel, right? This is definitely not one of them songs that I would have listened to or even pressed play if it wasn't for somebody requesting it, and specifically one of my Patreons requesting it. Okay. Now, the second part of this verse kind of threw some things into perspective. Well, not even the second part. Actually, I think it was more like the solo, or not necessarily solo, but kind of like the mid to outro that kind of gave some of this into perspective. Once I started thinking about the title Funeral Fog, I was sitting there thinking about, you know, the sadness that people would experience when, and this might not have anything to do with it, that people experience when you're at a funeral, right? And then I associate the word fog with it because you're kind of in this mental state, you know, especially if it's a loved one that died, you know what I mean? And when they do die, you go through those stages of depression, but you can't think clearly because you're going through those stages of depression. So I think that's where the kind of fog comes in play. That's at least this is the type of stuff that I'm getting. All right. Now let's just start thinking about how he said funeral fog, right? Elongated the funeral fog, right? And I started to think about, like, why would they want to elongate that word funeral? Maybe it's because when you go to a funeral, sometimes it might feel like it's dragging on or whatnot. That's a horrible thing to say, and I'm pretty sure the only people who probably experience that are, like, you know, little children who don't understand what's going on, you know, that somebody died. But it's interesting that he dragged that out, but decided to say fog really, really shortly, right? Fog. You just say it like an abrupt, and I like to associate that with when at the top of the lyrics when he was saying that beautiful was so thin, not beautiful, sorry, natural life is thin and so beautiful, right? So thin because it can be lost at any time. So I like to think why he said fog because just like it's thin, just like life, it can just end at any point. I wanted to point it out because I love it when artists include these little small elements in here because I think it helps with retention, especially when you're listening to it. Now, this does look like it's death metal. I believe one of my Patreons told me what it was in the comments, death metal. This isn't probably the type of metal that I would say I would want to revisit in the future. Not necessarily because it's bad music, right? Because I like the elements and everything. It's just that I didn't feel anything when I was listening to it. You know what I mean? Right now, to my ears, it sounded pretty cool. You know, sounded pretty good, but I couldn't necessarily pick up on a lot of elements, right? It kind of made it look like it was more about thrashing about. Definitely one of them songs. Maybe when you're angry, it's definitely a good song to put on. You know what I mean? But as far as like metal, I'm probably staying away from some death metal unless it's a band that I've heard before. You know what I mean? So, but like I said, it was still, I don't really know how to categorize it. I guess I could say from the standpoint of like lyricism and meaning, right? It kind of sounds fantasy, but I'm going to go with the thought of literal funeral fog, you know, what I told you that I thought this was. But of course, throwing in that Transylvania in the first part of the lyric kind of gives it that fantasy feel, right? In the middle of Transylvania. But even then, you know, when we're dealing with people who dies, you know what I mean? That can feel unreal. Right? Stage of depression. So fantasy. It's like Transylvania. That is fantasy, right? That doesn't exist, right? Anyways, that's the end of this video. If you enjoyed the content, leave a like and subscribe. Dave's out.